Alright, so today we're going to show you how to light a buckwood stove. We bought this wood stove about a year or so ago. We replaced the old one that was in the house. It was unusable, so we had to buy a new one. The new one didn't really come with instructions. All it really did was tell you how to turn the blower on and off and how to open the flue, and that was about it. There wasn't really anything about how to start a fire. So when we first started our fire, we ended up creating a downdraft and filling our entire living room with smoke, even though the flue was open, and we really had no idea why. So these are...
Yeah, we're gonna give you some tips on how to get a fire going in one of these wood stoves because you want to make sure that the flue is warmed up properly so you don't have the same issues that we did. One thing I'd like to point out is the fire starters that we use in the video are Durastart. They are not the same thing as Duraflame logs. You cannot use Duraflame logs inside wood stoves. They cause excessive heat and can damage the wood stoves. But the Durastart are fire starters that are completely safe for the inside of these wood stoves, and we will attach pictures and links in this video.
Hi. Fire safety tip number 1. If you have pets, never ever let them get close to the fire. They could get burnt. That way you'll have a nice dinner, but no pets.
So one of the best tips that you can do to warm up the flue is leaving the door open like this for about 15 minutes to bring the warm air from inside the house into the flue and up to blow out that cold air that's stuck. In my case, I've had the door open already. So after that, to check to make sure that the smoke is flowing in the correct direction, what you want to do is you grab a match and then if you hold it upright, you might not be able to see it in the video, but the smoke, if the airflow is flowing correctly, the smoke will go upwards into the flue and not come back out at you. The last thing that you want is a downdraft. In my case, that's what I had, and then the room will fill with smoke. So our fireplace is ready to go. Durastart logs. And then we also have fat wood. You can buy a case of this at Tractor Supply or any hardware store. And they both are fire starters, but I tend to use them together because the Durastart logs burn very slowly, which is nice, but sometimes it takes a minute to get the fire blazing enough to get the wood stove to start being hot. The fat logs burn very high and very quickly, but they burn out very fast. So using the combination for me has been very helpful. So what I do is I put my Durastart log in and I get it going. I usually light both corners just to kind of get the fire going a little bit quicker. There we go. And then I'll take the fat wood, just light it off of this. And then I stick it in the middle. So you kind of just let that get hot for a minute and let the flame start getting slightly higher. You can see that the smoke is going up, so the flue is warm enough that we won't have a downdraft. And then we'll let this burn for a second and we'll circle back. Okay, so this fat wood and the Durastart log are flowing pretty well now. So next you want to take thin, like kindling, smaller pieces of wood to kind of start catching in the fire starters. You don't want to stick anything too big or it's going to get very smoky. But we'll just kind of gently put this in the fire and get that started. So you shut the door, let it kind of do its smoke for a minute and catch onto that wood. But the idea is to just keep adding some smaller pieces. Don't smother the fire. Let it get as high as possible with the kindling. Another thing that I wanted to point out too, when you're getting a fire going and you're warming up the flue, obviously the fire takes a minute to get going, but like you want to make sure that the little valve here that controls the opening for the flue is pulled out all the way, set to high to get the maximum airflow, to get the fire started more efficiently. So we got some kindling in there. It's catching pretty nicely. Smoke's still flowing in the right direction. We'll just keep adding some smaller pieces of wood, get this going higher, and then you should be pretty set.
Had the fire going for a couple of minutes now and added a little bit more kindling and some tinier logs, and this is where we're at the moment.
Never, ever, ever let little kids get touch the fire. They could get a really bad burn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a little time has went by now. The fire is blazing really hot now. You can go ahead and plug it into the wall, the little valve on the side. If you don't want your wood to burn too fast, you can turn it down to medium or low. I usually keep it between medium and low so my wood gets airflow but doesn't overly burn. If the flame starts dying down a little bit, you can open this back up to medium or high just to increase the airflow. But other than that, you're good to go. You can turn on the fan. Nice hot fire burning.
Finally, this is the worst one. Fire tip number 4. Never ever light a tree outside on fire. It could burn down the tree and the ashes would be hot and you could get hurt. Bye. That's all the fire tips, safety tips for today.
Okay, that was